Yu-Chuang, Kuek, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
You're the new VP of Asia. What's your top priority in that capacity?
Frankly, I think the role is an affirmation of our commitment to Asia. And I think one of the first few things that I need to do, even before putting out a vision, is really to go on a listening tour, to listen to what are the needs of the region and how ICANN can serve the Asian community better. I see my role as being a conduit for a two-way communication. If there are developments within ICANN that the world needs to know, that the region needs to know, I want to make sure that we put that information out. On the other side of that communication channel is to make sure if there are developments on the ground in a local context, it feeds into the ICANN policy-making process and that we learn about it.
So it's got to come in both directions.
Absolutely.
You want to hear what people have to say. You also want to tell them about ICANN.
Yes, yes. And I think there are several degrees of accomplishment. I think at the base level, it's about awareness, making sure that people do know what ICANN's role is in the ecosystem, how the multi-stakeholder model works, how the bottom-up approach operates. That's the awareness level. And then there's the participation level. This is how you can make your voice heard. This is how you can act on things that affect you. And one level up on that is to find partners on the ground to have collaboration. So I think there are different tiers, and I'm hoping that within a short time, it might vary depending on which market you're in, but to be able to make headway in all these aspects.
I remember during Fadi Shahadi's first visit to Asia, during one speaking engagement, he basically apologized. He said, we really owe Asia an apology for being underserved and underengaged. Is that a correct assessment?
I think it's true. I think there are different things that we need to address. Asia is a very diverse region. I mean, if you look at the kind of certain economies racing ahead and really world leaders in internet technologies and internet technology adoption, as well as some that are coming up and need help with infrastructure and capacity building, I think we need to do a better job in understanding the nuance and the diversity in the region. And this is really something that I hope that I can do, and together with the rest of the team at the Singapore Hub, we can do together to understand the nuance and then articulate a strategy to address the challenges that we find on the ground.
How important is it? Fadi has announced that we will be having two hubs, one in Istanbul, one in Singapore. How important is it that we have that hub in Singapore?
I think this is long overdue. ICANN is giving an international public service, and it has to be globalized in that nature. I think the immediate benefits is that, regardless of whether you're an interested citizen of the world or you're a registry or registrar or you're a policy maker, to have someone speak in your time zone, to have someone who understands the cultural nuances on the ground is really important. And the fact that we are having this hub strategy and having a touch point near you, I think goes a long way in bridging that gap that has existed for a really long time.
Do most people in that global region, Kuek, do they understand what ICANN is and, more importantly, what ICANN's mission is?
Not enough, and never enough. I think this will be a continuous process of public education, yes, but also dialogue, because the function that ICANN serves, as well as the relationship that ICANN has with the community, is one that evolves. So, which is why, so there are two parts. On the one hand, not enough. I think really more has to be done in Asia, which is why I mentioned the awareness component earlier on. But this is going to evolve as well, which is why, in addition to saying not enough, I'm going to say never enough, because we will always be playing catch up in terms of making sure that the message gets out and we're hearing feedback on new developments.
During the Beijing meeting, I think we broke the record. It was the largest ICANN meeting in history. I think, what was it, 2,500 if I remember correctly. We have an upcoming meeting in Singapore, a couple of meetings ahead of where we're at now. Can we expect that meeting to be equally as large? And does that mere attendance say something about the interest in what ICANN is doing?
What will excite me about Singapore, and I don't want to overpromise, but we're really I'm fired up to make sure that we get on track, is to make sure that by the time we have the Singapore meetings in March, we have a really engaging and meaningful APEC strategy to announce at that meeting. It sounds like it's a long time off, but really we want a thoughtful process for us to get there. I think the Singapore meetings will excite in a lot of ways, in many ways rather. I think attendance is one thing, but I think by the time we reach Singapore, we'll be able to engage our audiences and the community in more than just a physical presence way. I think in terms of digital engagement, I think in terms of getting fresh faces to the meetings and participating in this very meaningful dialogue that we have is going to be one that's really exciting.
How do you get people involved who have heretofore never heard of ICANN, don't truly understand the domain name system?
I think what is necessary is to, as an outsider coming in, what excited me about this is that, one, these policies really do affect me. It affects me as a user, it affects me as a consumer of information and entertainment and communication tools from the internet. And the other part that excites me is that I have a voice. There is a channel for me as an individual to help shape whatever policy that is moving forward. I think especially at a time where in Asia, you have the new GTLD program, and when you think about all the different IDN, and I'm using an acronym already, all the different local language and IDN issues that come with the new GTLD program, this is the perfect time for someone who might not have had the background on it to come in, be involved, be part of the conversation, and share what they think.
Let's deal with that for just a second. Those internationalized domain names, which facilitate the use of Chinese characters, Japanese, non-Latin language scripts, that's a big deal in Asia.
I think it is. I mean, let's not understate the kind of communication that happens when it's your native language. I think, again, Asia is a place of rich diversity where there are so many languages within a pretty compact space. I mean, if you look at let's not talk about Asia. Let's just look at Southeast Asia. We have many languages within a very small region. India itself has 22 official languages. So, it really is a very, it's an important issue for Asia.
Kuek, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, Brad.